Hey there, everybody. Odin here. Roughly a week ago, Square Enix posted a story trailer to help promote Final Fantasy Tactics: The Ivalice Chronicles. And let me tell ya, I am hyped. Footage displayed is from a collection of marketing material, including the announcement trailer and the story trailer, as well as footage from various games in the quote-unquote Ivalice Alliance. If you like this video, please leave a like and hit that subscribe button and notification bell for more. Now, let's get on with it. It's June 20th, 1997. Squaresoft, formerly known as Square Enix, released a spin-off title on the PlayStation called Final Fantasy Tactics. After years of creating traditional Final Fantasy titles, Square Enix wanted to try something new by creating a tactical RPG that was not only accessible, but had a strong narrative and character-driven story alongside a robust job system. Character-driven stories were nothing new for producer Hironobu Sakaguchi, but there was little experience in the tactics department. Yasumi Matsuno, director for the previous Ogre Battle, came into the picture alongside Sakaguchi to deliver a game that not only created a unique world, but also many other games to come along with it. The plot of Final Fantasy Tactics is portrayed by the story of protagonist Ramza Beolf and his perspective of the events surrounding him throughout the story. What I will say is that there are various layers of politics and religion being at the center point of the story, which help it explode into a gripping narrative from the start until the very end credits. Final Fantasy Tactics created a dedicated fan base, which returned for numerous titles for years to come. After the MMO release of Final Fantasy XI, Square Enix went back to making single-player Final Fantasy games. The next game, Final Fantasy XII, to no surprise, was released on March 16, 2006 in Japan and October 31st, 2006 in North America. The game was set in the world of Ivalice, but this time as a mainline title. Like the original Tactics, this game was full of political drama. Later, this game was re-released in Japan as Final Fantasy XII International Zodiac Job System, and was eventually ported on July 11, 2017 in HD for Western countries. It was a beloved game that took the job system from Tactics and turned it into a single-player MMO-style game. For those who are familiar with the series Xenoblade Chronicles, it was very similar to that. The only issue left was that there was an elephant in the room shouting, "Where's Tactics?" Not soon after, a new Tactics game was in our hands. On May 10th, 2007, Square Enix released an updated version of Final Fantasy Tactics called Final Fantasy Tactics: The War of the Lions. This included new cutscenes, as well as voice acting for the video sequences in the game, and new jobs, Onion Knight and the Dark Knight. The biggest update being the fact that the game could be taken on the go and the story was actually understandable without needing an extremely high IQ or a codex to understand what was happening. There wasn't much negative criticism besides the fact that the game suffered from slowdown, but that was not impacted too harshly as the game carried itself. Outside of re-releasing the original, two other ports were made under the Tactics umbrella called Final Fantasy Tactics Advance for the Game Boy Advance and Final Fantasy Tactics Advance A2 Grimoire of the Rift for Nintendo DS. And while Tactics Advance released prior to 2007, it was not the same vibe as the original Tactics and can be thought of as a spin-off carrying the Tactics name. The same can be applied to Tactics A2 releasing in 2007. They do not carry the same energy, but I highly recommend them. Both of these games are expensive and are hard to find. So, if you can find them, or through educational purposes, I highly recommend them. The Nintendo-branded Ivalice games were beloved as well, and continued to keep the spirit of Ivalice intact. In October 2017, a patch for Final Fantasy XIV Stormblood, also known as patch 4.1, released, and it contained the first part of a 3-part Alliance Raid series called Return to Ivalice. This took you through the streets of Rabanastre, which not only evoked nostalgia, but the story for the Alliance Raid was very good as well. You got to see characters like Ramza in Final Fantasy XIV, which was a treat. I got a lot out of the Return to Ivalice content alone, and played those raids for numerous hours.
Oh my goodness!
I think it was pretty clear at this point what Square Enix had a hold of. Some could say this was purely fan fiction, and they're mostly right. But it was also a nod that Square Enix was listening by letting us know that Ivalice was still being thought about. it gave us hope. In September 2021, there was a leak which contained a list of unannounced games through Nvidia GeForce Now. One of these games was Final Fantasy Tactics Remastered. Many of us went nuts as well, since we have been salivating over a new Ivalice game for years, especially a new Tactics game. An announcement was around the corner, well, at least we had hoped. Many years passed by, winter 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024. Hope was lost. Was this leak just smoke in the air to get us excited? It wasn't unusual for this to happen, but in June 2025, Sony decided to drop a wonderful announcement. During the Sony State of Play showcase, Square Enix dropped Final Fantasy Tactics: The Ivalice Chronicles. It kept the art style of the original while sprucing up the menus to make things more readable and understandable. You could choose between Enhanced or Classic, which keeps closer to the experience of the original. I was excited. All of us are excited. It finally happened. However, later that day, there was grim news. Square Enix, in a press interview, revealed that the War of the Lions content would not be present.
Oh, no. No.
But, cry not. They explained why. Square said, "We did of course consider the addition of new jobs, abilities, and characters, including the jobs featured in War of the Lions. However, the original version of Final Fantasy Tactics is a very complete game, both from a game design and story perspective. If we were to make major changes, it would only be a loss for not only fans of the original game, but also those new to the title. One major upgrade, besides the visual and menu overhauls, is that the entire main scenario is fully voiced." As was also stated in the interview, our main focus was to keep everything that was great about the original game intact, but also working to further improve the game to adapt the game to the current era. For example, revamping the controls and UI, as well as adding full voice acting to enhance player immersion. Immediately, I needed to know who the voice actors are, and then I saw Ben Starr.
Come to me, Ifrit!
He is Dice Star, and I'm all for it. Final Fantasy Tactics: The Ivalice Chronicles releases on September 30th, 2025 for PS5, PS4, Nintendo Switch 2, Xbox Series X and S, and PC via Steam. I will most certainly be playing this, and I hope that others check out this game and find out what made it so magical to begin with. Thanks for tuning in. Odin here. Have a Zantetsuken day. Peace out.